Did you know ASBN, America's Small Business Network, is now available on your TV? That's right. ASBN is now streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire Stick, and available for download in the App Store. Scan the QR code to download the ASBN app today. Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.
On today's show, we are so pleased to welcome back a previous guest, Joseph Lambert, who's the owner and founder of Joseph's Junk Removal. Joseph operates a successful junk removal business, and his company has earned him the title of Neighborhood Favorite on the Nextdoor app for 2023. Welcome back to the show, Joseph.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thrilled to be here.
Sure. So last time we had you in the studio, and were starting your junk removal business and doing a great job at that. And if I remember correctly, at the time you were not old enough yet to buy a drink or alcohol, I should say, because you're a very young entrepreneur. So how are things going?
They're going excellent. We've built a great team. I've seen so much growth there. Just a lot of great leadership across the board. We've also experienced a lot of growth, from a revenue standpoint and a staffing standpoint, expanding our service areas. So really in all aspects of the business, we're seeing a lot of positive things.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I'm going to go rapid fire with you here because I know that our viewers are going to want to know some things. First, where do you find your customers that are looking to get rid of their junk?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a mix of people calling us back. So we have incredible value with our repeat business, but also we find a lot of customers online. So like you mentioned a second ago, the Nextdoor neighborhood app, as well as other sources like Google, Yelp, and things like that. We also do a lot of yard signs as well, yard signs and door hangers. So a lot of people hear us about it through that. So we really try to market, in every kind of area so that people can hear about us in different ways.
Yes. So people that are listening to us around the country, they should know that you and I happen to live in the same vicinity, north end of Atlanta. And I, for one, see your signs and your trucks everywhere. I don't know if it's the one truck you keep driving around in front of me or you have just grown so much that you've got multiple trucks on the road. But either way, congratulations on all your success. And those little signs do work because I see these little, I think we used to call them real estate signs, where you just kind of stick them in the ground right there, wherever it is you've got a job going on, and they definitely catch your eye, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So talk to us. What have been some of the challenges in growing your business?
Yeah, so I think, one of the biggest challenges is really learning how to manage by the numbers. So, I just started this business straight out of high school, so a lot of this has just been learning on the job. But what I've learned is, what gets inspected gets respected, mm-hmm. and then what gets measured gets improved. Yeah. So when we run our business by the numbers and we show people exactly what winning and losing looks like, it creates an even playing field, and it creates a company where people can truly build their careers and they see the path they need to grow. Yeah. And we know when we have an A+ team, then we're going to provide A+ service. Yeah. So for me, managing by the numbers is really more of a team thing, and then that's going to translate to our customers. So, but that is not without challenges. Learning to manage by the numbers is a lot of work, and it's an ongoing process. So I'd say that's been one of the biggest challenges, but it's also been one of the best things that's ever happened to us.
Sure. And you're probably not unlike many entrepreneurs that want to focus on getting the job done and doing what they do and what they've built the company based on, but they're not so in tune with what the numbers are. So it's interesting that you bring that up, because I agree with you. If you can capitalize on growing the business through the numbers and knowing them very well, it'll serve you well down the road, right?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's crucial.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And sometimes entrepreneurs learn that too late, where somebody says to them, hey, you're right on the verge here of going out of business. You're not keeping track of your accounts receivables or your forecasts or your accounts payables or such. And now all of a sudden the person's in hot water and doesn't know which way is out, right?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Actually, I have a quick story along those lines. So a couple of years ago, I was sitting at the Whole Foods in East Cobb. I could still take you back to the booth I was sitting in, and I was reviewing my financials with a mentor of mine, and he looked me square in the eyes and he said, "If something doesn't turn around, you're going to be bankrupt in 90 days." Wow. And I sunk back in my seat because I had experienced a lot of success. I was a young entrepreneur. I was feeling good, but we were in a tough spot. Yeah. And I realized if something didn't change, then we wouldn't be able to continue the success we'd had and provide opportunities. So that was a pivotal point. And, I hope entrepreneurs don't have to go through that like I did.
Right.
But going through that hard challenge ended up building us into what we are today, a company that pays attention to the numbers by the day and by the hour instead of just, glancing at them once a quarter. So it is crucial, and I've learned it the hard way.
Yeah, no question about it. What was it that you put into play after that conversation with your mentor? Because you can either you can grow it, by business, or you can take out loans to get to the next level, or cut back your staff substantially to make sure you've got enough in payroll. But what was it that you pivoted to it from that conversation that said, okay, we're gonna make this happen?
Yeah, it was honestly super simple. It was just your normal financial statements, profit and loss statement, the cash flow statement, and the balance sheet. Every business, whether you're doing $1 million in revenue or 10 billion in revenue, uses the same financial statements. Knowing what they are, knowing how to read them, what are good indicators and bad indicators, really is where it starts and stops for us. Yeah. And one of our things we do is that's not just something that our leaders or our senior leadership team looks at. We go through our P&L with every member on the team. So everybody has a clear understanding of our financial statements, because that is the health of the business. And they need to know if we're not a healthy business, and they need to know what they can do to contribute to the overall team. So I think myself, as the leader of the company, being in tune with the financial statements, but also letting that infiltrate down to even our lowest level employees, that has made a huge difference.
Sure. Well, now that you've mentioned your employees, how many do you have today? And then the follow-up question is going to be, where do you find good employees and how do you retain them?
Great question. So we're at about 35 employees right now.
Wow.
We do, hire and lose a few sometimes throughout the months. But, I've been really pleased to say that a lot of our, turnover has not been due to people just leaving because, they don't want to be here. A lot of it's them graduating college or moving out of state, something along those lines. But how to retain them, really what I've learned is when you have A+ employees, it's almost self-policing. Mm-hmm. So I actually saw a bit by Steve Jobs recently. He talked about the team that built the Mac. Mm-hmm. And he talked about how they were just an A+ team. And he really didn't even have to, vet people quite as well once that team was built, because he knew if somebody wasn't A+, then they were going to kick them out.
Yeah.
So we found when you have really great people, they want to work with really great people. And all you have to do is just kind of let them run, feed that hunger, and then a lot of the rest takes care of itself. Now, it takes a lot of work to get there, and it has for us. We haven't always had an A+ team. But, from a practical standpoint, I think having a really good incentive system, which we do, that lets the best players play and, rewards people financially when they go above and beyond, I think that's a huge part for us. Mm-hmm. I think providing an environment where people are heard and, meaningful time is spent with each individual employee. Like one of the things I do is I have a one-on-one with different team members throughout the company every single week. Mm-hmm. And I do one a week. I have my direct reports, but then these are outside of my direct reports. So I think everybody at the company feeling like they have a voice and they can be heard is huge as well. So there's a lot more I could go to, but having a great incentive plan and then, having meaningful time spent with each employee, I think is huge. Sure.
And I would imagine your employees see this startup doing very well and want to be part of a success story, right? I mean, there's a lot of that right now. People that want to come into a business that's a startup and got a startup mentality and say, yeah, let's grow this thing together, right?
Oh, absolutely. And, everybody, I think when you think startup, you think tech world. You think, we're going to go build this next technology. We're going to go from 0 to 100 million in 2 years. Yeah. Which sounds great, but, very few people get that opportunity. Sure. But I think there's a great, a group of people that maybe come from more of the blue collar world that may not think they have the opportunity to be a part of something like that. Right. And we're saying, yes, you can. Yes, you can be a part of a startup that can grow quickly and provide a lot of opportunity for you. And I think people gravitate to that. Yeah. So how do you compete against the big, probably the 900-pound gorilla in that market is got junk, right? And that people may think of, they see TV ads or what have you. How does a little guy like you, and you've done a great job growing the business, how do you compete with those giants out there? Yeah, absolutely. I think it, comes all down to our team. our product is our people. Our product is not our service. When you call us out, the individual that walks through your front door is what sets us apart from 1-800-GOT-JUNK. We drive the same trucks. Our marketing is similar. All that's going to be similar. Even our pricing structure is pretty similar. When you call out a lot of these other companies, the guy who walks through Nextdoor probably hasn't been background checked. A lot of these guys hire felons. You really don't want to know who's walking through your front door if you hire one of these large franchises. And we know that because we've interviewed a lot of the guys who have come to us from them, and we've kind of heard about it. For us, we are hiring high quality individuals who really are probably going to be working in the white collar world, or would be, but we've shown them the opportunity we have. So we're hiring high character individuals that are going to treat our clients with respect. Our guiding principle that our team recites every morning is treat every customer like you want your family to be treated. And that is what sets us apart ultimately from a lot of these other companies.
That's fantastic. So now in a business like yours, you're kind of constricted from a geographical standpoint. Obviously, you can have just so much of an influence in a particular market. Is there another market you're looking at now?
My only pushback with that would be, I think Atlanta has so much runway left. It is a large city. We're almost 8 million people. And I think we've barely tapped the market, to be honest with you. Some industry players like 1-800-GOT-JUNK are, I think GOT-JUNK is about 10x our size in the city of Atlanta. So we look at that and go, well, if they're doing this, then we can do even more than that. So I think we have a lot of runway left in Atlanta, but we do have vision to expand in the Southeast and even nationwide, possibly get backed by private equity as well. There's a lot of different options there. But at the end of the day, we want to provide opportunities for our team to grow and, to serve more clients. And, as long as we can do it with quality, we'll continue to grow.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I would imagine franchising is in your future at some point. Does that make sense to franchise the operation?
Yeah, that's a great point. And, you see franchising so much in the junk removal market. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a proponent of the franchising for our business. Our mission is to build leaders, pursue growth while providing award-winning service. And I think the biggest flaw with a lot of the franchises is, the franchisor is really a marketing company. They're generating the leads, and the franchisees are doing the work, honestly, without a whole lot of support other than a playbook from the franchisor. Our goal is not to just hand somebody a playbook and say, good luck, here are a bunch of jobs to get done. Our goal is to develop leaders. And I don't really see a great way to do that in the franchise model. We really would rather go the Chick-fil-A model where, we have a leader who's starting a location, is responsible for it, but they're getting a lot of support and development from HQ per se.
Sure. One of the advantages to franchising, as you know, is the fact that you're actually using other people's capital to grow your company. Sometimes it can be very costly when that's all on your shoulders to buy those additional trucks and open up those other markets and the manpower and what have you. But that's an interesting take that you've got there, that you're more of a Chick-fil-A than you are the traditional franchise system that's out there. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've seen a lot of guys crush it in franchising. So I definitely don't want to say that's a bad idea. I think it's a great option for a lot. But, if we're really going to stand behind our mission statement of building leaders, at least at this point in time, I don't think it's the best option for us.
Sure.
But we'll always keep all options on the table.
How many trucks, if you don't mind me asking, do you have today?
We have 8.
8. So you've got 8 trucks on the road running all over Atlanta. You have 35 employees. When I interview you again, certainly before 5 years, but we were having this talk in 5 years. What does the company look like in those categories in terms of number of trucks and employees?
Wow, that's a great question. I don't do my calculations based on trucks and employees. We're really, if we're talking 5 years down the road, really where we want to be is, we want to have 5 locations in Atlanta. We'd love to have, obviously a leader at each one of those locations. And we have a leadership tree that falls below that. From a truck standpoint, I'll be honest with you, we've found more ways to be efficient with our trucks. We actually haven't bought a truck in 2 years, but we've still grown our volume of jobs done just because we've learned how to use them better.
That's great.
And one thing I do see in our market a lot is that what you just said is a measure of success often. Well, how many trucks do you have? We hope to be able to do a lot more with less. So all that to say, we'd love to be at about 5 locations and just have a, solid group of leaders and, see a lot of growth. That would be a win for us.
That's fantastic, and I know you're going to have all of that because that's the person that you are. So you are certainly a go-getter. We appreciate all of the time you've given us here at the show. Joseph Lambert, owner and founder of Joseph's Junk Removal. This is a company that is on a fast track. You're going to be hearing a lot about it. I don't care where you live. These guys are making some waves out there. They've got a great story. So, Joseph, thank you so much. Much continued success to you and your team. Love to have you back to do a follow-up soon.
Awesome. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.